Even Silence Has an End, written by Ingrid Betancourt. I watched all this agitation, my stomach twisted in anxiety, and I prayed to God to give me the strength to go through with it. Tonight I shall be free. I repeated this sentence over and over to ward off the fear that was contracting my muscles and draining my blood, while I struggled to make the gestures I had planned 1,000 times during my sleepless nights. Ingrid Betancourt, the author of Even Silence Has an End, says this quote before one of the nights of her failed escape attempts. This book was written during her time held captive in the Colombian jungle. She was captured in 2002 and had been held captive by the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, or as she called them, FARC. For 6 years, Ingrid is a Colombian politician who was kidnapped for campaigning for Colombian presidency in formerly unsafe zones that had now been cleared as safe. Ingrid Betancourt had been held captive for a total of 6 years. In those many years, she was taunted and belittled by the FARC. She was physically chained up for a lot of her journey. The FARC would watch her wash off in the rivers and call her names. She took on many mental challenges of abuse from the FARC, and she wondered if it was worth it to still have hope. She didn't know if she would still fight for her identity anymore. She missed her family. During the many years she passed the time by learning to weave, read her Bible and dictionary, and exercising. Over the course of her time, Ingrid hoped and believed that she will only be there for a few weeks or months, but she soon realizes that many years will go by. She meets many different people. One was a prisoner who gets pregnant by a commander. Lucio, a prisoner who has diabetes but does not have insulin, and Gloria, who was captured and separated from her sons. Ingrid had almost lost all of her hope when one day in 2008, a Colombian military team got the FARC to hand over Ingrid and all of the other hostages. Her emotions flooded over her when she knew she was free. She fell to her knees and cried out of joy. When Ingrid finally is released, her children are all adults. Her mother has grown old, and her father had died. That broke Ingrid's heart, as all the people she loved and cared about had changed. When I first read this book, I wasn't quite sure what to think about it. My initial reaction to Ingrid being captured was that she had caused it to happen, that maybe she wandered into some area in Colombia that was marked unsafe, and she ended up basically asking for it. Also, in the beginning of the book, Ingrid came off as really strong and very self-centered. Because of these reasons, I didn't really like the book at first. But the more I read the book, the more I understood Ingrid and the reasoning for everything. Ingrid traveled into a dangerous area because she wanted to campaign for the Colombian presidency. She didn't know the area was dangerous at the time. She had been told that it was cleared of FARC guerrillas. Also, throughout the book, Ingrid seeming self-centered was a way to portray her constant realization of not giving up. She was persistent, and her persistence might have been what she needed to save her life. I would recommend this book because of the way it portrays mental strength. It took mental strength for Ingrid to not lose herself when all things were taken away from her. When you're chained by the neck to a tree and deprived of all freedom, the freedom to move around, to talk, to eat, to drink, to carry out your most basic bodily needs, well, it took me several years to realize it, but you still have the most important freedom of all, which no one can take away from you. That is the freedom to choose what kind of person you want to be. While in captivity, Ingrid was abused in mental and physical ways. The narc guerrillas tried everything to belittle Ingrid and basically take her identity away. Ingrid stayed the strong person she is and didn't let anything get to her.